I believe we shouldn't worry about what other people are doing with their lives. Some people meditate and obsess over other people. I've never done that myself. I've always been a busy lady, busy girl. Always on the go, me. Even when I'm in bed. I'm sleeping and I'm walking about, you know. I'm also rolling around and talking and sleepwalking and all sorts of things. Astro travelling, God knows what else. Yeah. Don't worry about what, you know what I mean? Some people, we should stay still. Don't obsess over other people. Don't keep thinking about what other people are doing. You're missing the moment of thinking about you, yourself, improving you. And instead of wondering how somebody's doing something or somebody's not doing something or why and when and how, why, whatever. Don't worry. Worry don't get you anywhere. Worry doesn't change anything. Worry doesn't actually... Do you know, I worried so much in my life that I don't worry anymore. You come to a point where you get to a peak in your life where you worry so much that you just don't give a shit about nothing. No, I don't. I love people and I give a shit about my family, and no matter how horrible they are to me, I love people too because I'm a person, and I'm a people person, but sometimes I can't stand them. I can't stand people sometimes because I've been around so many people and I worked so much for so long in my life around people that you can actually not actually hate people. Did I say that? I'm sorry. They can get on your nerves. We all say behind closed doors, I fucking can't stand people. We're guilty of it. Am I right or am I wrong? Do you get fed up and say fuck's sake? Yeah. So, don't worry about what somebody else is doing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you're missing space in your life. You're missing out on learning and educating yourself, and, you know, worrying about yourself is the most important thing, and improving yourself. And if you want in competition with somebody, then learn and improve yourself. Then you can win over somebody if you feel that way. You want to win. You know, you're in competition because some people are very competitive, and it's all about winning with some people. But with me, I'll take you as I find you. You know, that's how I see people. As I take them as I find them, and I accept people for who they are. But I won't put up with nonsense. I won't. I won't. I don't. And I will tolerate you, anyone. You know, tolerance is the name of the game in my life, because I've been tolerance for so long. You know, I've tolerated since childhood because, you know, I've come from a dysfunctional family. So thank God I'm not around them anymore. And thank God I escaped. Finally, you know, today I escaped, yesterday or the other day, for good. Because don't guys feel obligated. You know, I've got a heart of gold, and at the end of the day, my heart was too big, and I let people walk all over me and treat me like shit and treat me like very badly. And because they were my parents, and, you know, I'm putting to rest now things that happened. And guys, you know, at the end of the day, being a part of a dysfunctional family doesn't define you in any way, shape or form. As a certain person, as a dysfunctional person, in my opinion, in my experience in my life as a person, I'm the actual total opposite of dysfunctional. How I was raised and how I see life and how I treat people, and how I'm totally opposite because I've been treated that way, brought up in a dysfunctional family. So I've done a 360, and I'm on the other scale of dysfunctional. I'm functional because I come from a dysfunctional, so I know what it's like. I've been there, done it, you know everything about dysfunctional, so that makes me defunctional. So sometimes you can be left dysfunctional, and then you can come out that defunction, and you can actually function properly. And when you function properly, you can be happier than you've ever been. You can be in a place where you want to be. You can be who you want to be, and, you know, you can be confused and put off track by people, you know, because it's life as it is, as we know it, 2021, you know, you've got to watch who you talk to and who your friends are. I mean, you're lucky if you've got one or two good friends in these days. I had loads of friends in the old days, but they weren't actually my friends behind my back. They're fake. But obviously, I've learnt, live and learn, you know, wiser, got loads of grey hair, you can't see it. But through that, I keep my grey hair and find it good because grey hair's in and you can buy grey hair in colour in, you know, the shops, and white and silver and stuff. So I have got grey hairs, got them when I was in my 20s, had a bad experience. But, you know, I can look back at that experience, but it doesn't bother me. I can look back and nothing affects me anymore. I'm disinfectant, you know. I smell. I got this disinfectant smell up my nose constantly because I'm always cleaning. And that is a load of crap, actually, because I hate cleaning. And I'm honest about how shit I am at cleaning. I can't stand housework. I'd rather just watch it and look at it and just, you know, not bother and get shitty over it and do it. Yeah, I can be a lazy bitch, you know. But coming from a dysfunctional family, you know, maybe I've got bits of traits in me where I'm a bit lazy because I was never told and disciplined. I was just left to my own devices, but I was also disciplined in ways where it was very dysfunctional. So you don't bring that onto your children because you don't want your children to suffer. So you can change the dynamic and break generational curses by, you know, realising, smelling the wood for the trees, the flowers, waking up and smelling the coffee, you know, and then actually putting yourself first and not bothering with people in your family, because if they're not treating you the way you should be treated, with respect and honour, as a child, as a daughter, a son, you know, if you're out there and you're in the same boat as me, putting, you know, things to rest with your dysfunctional family. You know, it makes us who we are, but at the end of the day, we don't have to be defined by it. We can actually live by who we are and getting to know yourself, and you can change. You can change the generational curses and actually, you know, being the person you believe, want to be. And in my opinion, I always want God to help me be the person that he wants me to be. So, and I say that prayer every day. So I think it helps me because I always strive and always want to be a good person. And I've not always been a good person, but if you've not been a good person, then you learn, I've learned the hard way and learn lessons. And then I became and have become a good person over the years, but I've become a better person than I was prior in the past. So what I was saying was, the past is gone. So, you know, it's not there. It doesn't exist anymore. It just exists as a memory. So if you're affected by your childhood, you know, I've been affected by my childhood, and I used to ruminate and sometimes just think back sometimes because I had triggers, because you know, things happen in my childhood because I come from a dysfunctional family. And I've known lots of people that have come from a dysfunctional family, and I felt like a dysfunctional family, you know, my friends and, you know, even people I work with, and I felt so at home, but I didn't like it because that home where I lived, you know, my dysfunctional family at my home. But it's an experience. I've experienced dysfunctional, and you know, I've had to learn the hard way and go through life the hard way, because my parents didn't bring me up properly. They dragged me up, you know, and they didn't put love, sweat, tears and nurture me. So I had to find myself. I had to bring myself up, you know, from a very young age, be independent, because I've always been left to my own devices too much. And I had so much freedom, but in my opinion, I had so much freedom that the freedom that I had, I could have, you know, I could have gotten so much. I could have just been, I could have been in so much trouble. I'm lucky I'm alive, really, to be honest with you. So, you know, I've done stupid things. We all do when we're young, you know, and especially if you come from a dysfunctional family. So as you grow older and, you know, you grow up, a person like me that's had to learn, had a hard life and had to learn the hard way, you know, just leave it in the past, isn't it? I mean, we can talk about it, we can be reminded about it, we can get triggered by it, but at the end of the day, recognise it's not even there anymore. If people want to go on about the past, let them. Just let them go on about it. Just, you know, it might give you a headache, but just let it go. Because sometimes, you know, I think we need to leave the past in the past. I leave the past in the past because, you know, you get to the point where I used to worry a lot. As a habit of worrying is and thinking. So I come out of that habit because I worried so much to the point where I couldn't take it no more. The worrying was just like, I'm thinking, it makes you worse, and you worry so much you can worry yourself into you got your own grave and like worry yourself into situations that are not even here yet, and you can manifest things that you don't want to, and you can also think about things, you know, and it, like I said in my last video, in one of my videos, you can create things. So the past traumas, the past dysfunctional family members that don't treat you right and you have to leave behind, you know, in my experience, guys, you know, it is a heartbreaker. You know, I've had my heart broken loads of times, and you know, there's people over the world like me that has gone through, you know, heartbreaks and stuff. So you get to the point where you tolerate and you know, you get affected by things, but you cry as well, and you know, you let out your tears, you let out your frustrations, you let out your pain, and letting it, being in that moment and not denying your feelings and using drugs and alcohol and drink and, you know, cigarettes or whatever, that's just going to delay your pain. That's just masking it, and it has to come out later because God won't let you fucking, you know, he knows that you have to feel the pain, feel your emotions, accept it, know that they're there, be it, and it'll go. And when it goes, you'll become stronger, and then you'll be able to tolerate more. And that's what I've done since childhood. I've built up my tolerance levels because I've had to, and that's it. It's been that way. So I've learnt the hard way. I've learnt a lot of hard lessons. So going back to the past, you know, I don't get affected by the past really, because I see it as that, you know, it's not there anymore. It's just a memory in my brain, and I don't even have that memory in my. I mean, if someone asked me about my family members, where are they, who are they, you know, and do I see them? Obviously, then I think about, you know, if I see them or not, and I'll say yes or no. But it's not a bad thing if you don't see people that are no good for you. You know, haven't got your best interests at heart. It's very heartbreaking because it can be blood family, like your mother or your dad, and you know, being in that dysfunctional family in the past, it's like leaving behind all that pain, leaving the past in the past. It's not even reality anymore. It doesn't exist. It's just part of what happened, and what happened is not there anymore. It's just a memory. So some people just memorise, and this, you know, if it's a trauma, you won't stop memorising, you won't stop thinking about it. It'll come up sometimes and pop into your head, and that's what you know, childhood traumas do. And I've had that, but that's over now, and I can think about, and if I choose to, and talk about, you know, my family members, but it actually doesn't affect me anymore because I've got over the trauma, I've got over the hurt, I've got over the pain. I'm still upset because things have come to an end between me and my parents, and at the end of the day, you've got to accept that it's just has to be that way for your own sanity, for your own love for yourself. Choose love, choose you. You're the only person like me, you know, I'm independent, I'm on my own, and I embrace that because that's who I am, what's happening in the here and now, and that's happening, I don't know about tomorrow, you know, or the next day, whatever. Leave it to God to sort out, and just concentrate on the here and now, on what you're doing, and be in the moment, because treasure every minute of the day. I'm alive. I survived COVID, and a lot of people, hey, and I survived other things. So I'm grateful for breathing, for having my arms and legs and everything. And sometimes we take it for granted. We're all guilty of that. But as you get older and you're wiser, it's like, don't let people treat you badly. Don't ever put up with it. They could be family members, but they're obviously not in your life to serve you a purpose of being on your side and having your health and mental health, in your best interest. It's not in their best interest for you. They're obviously thinking of being selfish and not letting you get on because they feel they have to be mean, make you cry, put you down, and a lot of people keep on, and it ruins some people's lives because of their dysfunctional family members. They're still that way and they haven't changed. If you've got out of a dysfunctional family, I did when I was 16, but I always went back. I always went back to the abuse, being the porn in the middle of my parents. Fucking, I'm the drama queen, and they love the drama. They use me as drama. They create arguments so that they feel it keeps them alive because they're dead people, maybe. I don't know. They're zombies, is what I mean. So whatever the case, I've always been a pawn in my parents' life to just fulfill their fulfill as in like give them a laugh, give them something, an entertainment. I'm not here for everybody's entertainment. I'm not here to be put down, to be treated like shit. It's not what I'm asking for. It's not what I want. At the end of the day, I earn my respect, and people have to earn respect. And I believe even your own parents, you, if you have children out there, we all learn by our children. We do. We learn things. I've learned that. We've got to listen to our kids at the end of the day. God, deja vu, I've done this before. I swear I've made a video like this before. Our parents, they're in it with us to get, together as a team, as a family unit, or you're not in it. Like me, I've never been in it. I've always tried to be, but you can't force and change a dynamic that hasn't changed and don't change and won't change. Don't go there. Don't, kill yourself trying to be accepted and loved and liked by people that just play games with your head, and want you to be around 1 minute and are nice to you 1 minute, but can be so nasty behind your back and to other family members and people in your life and make your life hell. It's called toxicity, toxic parents. And guys, at the end of the day, choose you, choose your life, choose, who you are. Don't think that you can't be who you want to be. It's up to you. If you're an adult, you take responsibility of who you are and of yourself and your actions. Your parents don't have no control over you anymore. You know what I mean? I've been going through that for years, where they felt they still want to control me, and they can't stand me because they can't control me. I won't allow it. That's why we used to have rows after rows after rows, because I kept putting my foot down, but I should have just walked away completely. But it was because I love my parents. It's hard when you've got parents that are toxic. It's so more difficult than just a friendship or a partnership. It's hard, but you can walk away from them people easier. And so even your parents can bloody be a hindrance, you see, and they're blood relatives. And I'll always love my parents, but it doesn't mean I can be treated like shit and I'm going to go back for more anymore, guys. And I think, I'm just hoping this gets to some people that you don't need to be, and you don't have to be, and you don't, deserve to be treated in a disrespectful way just because you have parents. They are your parents at the end of the day. They have to earn your respect as well. It's a two-way thing. As adulthood, you're supposed to honour and respect your parents as you're growing up, and as a child to grow up to, and you get treated how your parents treat you. If your parents don't give you respect, my parents never respect me, then I'm not going to respect them. I'm not going to give them the respect. And then they come at you wanting to know and wanting to have a go at you and like turn it around and say you're the problem because you're mouthy. And it's because I've got no respect for my parents, because they never taught me respect. Teach me respect for them then, teach me. I never got taught to respect you, Dad. I never got taught to respect you, Mother. I respect my mother more because she didn't hurt me, you know, physically or anything. So I'm like, but at the end of the day, it's not respectful, and it's not good, and it's not okay and cool to put down your child. My mum did it, you know. Part of a toxic, dysfunctional family is putting you down and getting, you know, delight out of rise out of you in a negative way, which affects me, which affected me. So I'm like putting it to rest. You can walk away. You can love your parents from a distance. You can forgive them from a distance, and sometimes you forgive them, and you can get on with them. But if they're just intolerable and you cannot tolerate them because they're jumping down your throat and excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied, and they don't listen, they just talk over you and are very selfish as well. You know, it's toxicity, it's dysfunctional, it totally is. It's just they're against you, and that's wrong. If you have a child brought into the world, you nurture, you love, you know, you bring up and want the best for them, and you don't want to be against them, you don't want to go against them if you can help it. But sometimes you get pushed to your limits. You get, you know, you get it up to here. You know, with sometimes teenagers can just, you know, you get a breaking point where you're like, you do actually say things, you know, horrible things back, because at the end of the day, it's like God saying, like, that you've taken this much, you've taken this much, you've taken too much now. So they have to be brought down a peg or two. So don't be afraid to discipline your child by, you know, making it known and very clear that you will not be disrespected and spoken to, how you treat people, how you want to be treated. And if your child, daughter, you know, son, teenager, for instance, because they're very difficult family members, you know, don't argue back all the time and go back and forth like I did with my parents. Let your child learn that by their own mistakes, but be there for them to pick up the pieces and help them, you know, move forward. And, you know, sometimes they're hurting, they hurt you because they are hurting. And, you know, teenagers have to go through a lot. So, you know, going back to, you know, parents that are dysfunctional, toxicity, well, you got a choice. At the end of the day, they have no control over you. And sometimes they fear losing control, because that's what you were, you know, to your parents. Some of us were just there to, you know, they just can't stop controlling you. They treat you like you're younger as well sometimes, and they don't want you to grow up, because then you're walking away. They want to keep you reeled in and have you in the family dynamic, because they can't move on and change, because they're dysfunctional and in a negative state constantly, you know, because otherwise they wouldn't have been dysfunctional in the first place and affected you. So I recognise this, I've dealt with this, and I think it's for all of us to realise, if you come from a dysfunctional family, that, you know, you can't change anybody else, you can't change your parents. And I've tried so many years, but because I want to be loved, I tried to force them to love me by going back from, you know, but I was against them and they were against me, because, you know, I couldn't get something from them that they couldn't give me. So they're not able to or capable, because they haven't got it in them, that they're not lovable. But at the end of the day, parents shouldn't be parents, but at the end of the day, they're my parents for a reason. You're toxic parents, guys out there. If you've got toxic parents, family members, you're in a, you know, toxicity, dysfunctional, are there for a reason. And, you know, it made me taught me and learnt me discipline, honour, truth, love, you know, over the years, over and over, falling back, getting up, standing up, getting, you know, falling down, breaking my leg, getting run over by a car when I was little, getting over that. You know, I've had such a, you know, lot to contend with during my life. So I'm at a stage now where I made myself into who I am, and, you know, that's it. That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have to be anything you don't want to be. And, you know, some parents just can't accept that they can't control you anymore, and it's time to say goodbye. At the end of the day, if they're ruining your health and they're trying to knock you down because they feel bad and they can't change, they can't see what they're doing, they can't see who they are. If you know yourself and you're in your truth and you stand in your the conviction, and, you know, you've got self-worth and love yourself, that's when they get really bad. That's when they really get fucked off and pissed off with you, because they know that they have no power and control over you. You'll find your parents will get worse and worse as worse. If you can identify and see what I mean, guys, please comment. They get worse and worse as you get older, because you're getting more and more stronger and rebellious, and, you know, you're standing truth, because if you're like me, you've always stood your ground, because, you know that you shouldn't keep going back and arguing and taking the arguments and the you know, the abuse and the bloody disrespect, but they want you in their lives by having contact. Well, what's the point? That contact's going to be negative and bring you down. So just go with it. Love them from a distance. Send a card. You know, at the end of the day, I've put up with a lot, and a lot of people wouldn't have put up with what I did and walked away years ago. You know, and that's fair enough. That I chose that's my bag. I chose, you know, the hard way, but I learnt my lesson the hard way, and it's good because I'm free. I feel free because I've made that choice and I've stuck to it, and that's good. That's a good feeling. That's a good thing to do, in my opinion, in my case, in my life. That I've stuck to my decision for once in my life and made the right decision. No, it's not wrong or right. You know, about not seeing your lovely, you know, your parents that you love. It's not. I wasn't in the wrong, but it wasn't good for me. It wasn't doing me any good. So it wasn't beneficial. So it was hindering my growth, and, you know, and that's what I was there for, because they wanted me to go away. They didn't want me, but then they want me back, because they want drama, they want arguments, and this is what toxic parents is about, guys. And you can get through it, and, you know, you'll come to the stage where, like, God's like taking care of it. Because I just held my hands up the other day, and I was like, fucking hell, God, I did swear, actually, sorry, I can't deal with this anymore. I'll give this to you. Give it to God. That's a true saying. Give it to God. Give it over. You can't do no more. God's seen you till you're blue in the face, arguing, you know, trying your best. You keep trying. It's just knocking your head against a brick wall, and God's saying, hang on a minute. Let me deal with this. So he dealt with it and said, shut the fuck up, Amanda. Sit down. I cried my eyes out. It's like grief. When you lose your parents, when you walk away from your parents, it's still a grieving process. So, excuse me. So, life's a shit bag, and you've got to move on at the end of the day. I hope this is good for you guys, and you've learned something, and like this video, and I hope I've helped, and just mainly been there for you, just by, you know, talking about this, because it's just a learning process. You know, it's like a test at the end of the day, that we all these tests we go through in life, it feels like a test, and I believe God is testing us, you know, and our tests are for our own growth. So we got to pass our tests, or we won't learn. So I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.